everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a draw with me. I'm going to try to be fairly quiet through most of it, but I might pop in here and there just to kind of describe what I'm doing. So I'm going to be drawing the Atropa belladonna, otherwise known as belladonna or deadly nightshade. And I think at the time I chose to do this just because I really like drawing plants, and I've been practicing it for a little while. I have been drawing like fungi and flowers because I feel like I'm not very good at rendering like all of that detail. You'll probably come to realize that I'm not a very patient artist. I know that like artists have this sort of reputation for being very patient because generally it takes us a while to do our craft, and I would say that I'm a generally patient person. However, when it comes to my art, I want it to be perfect right away, and I get really frustrated with it, and so I have been trying to slow down and practice because a lot of times I will not look at the actual details of a reference photo and I will just sort of start winging it. So here I'm trying my best to stick to the reference photo so that I can get this as accurate as possible, because as you'll know, unless there's some sort of mutation with plants, when it comes to these things, it's very specific, the number of petals that a flower will have, or the shape of the leaf. Those sorts of things are very standard in plants. So I'm trying really hard to be accurate, starting with this little pencil sketch, of course. Just sort of laying it down to get an idea of how I'm gonna have this looking. So now I'm just kind of cleaning up some of the lines. I think right before this, I had actually erased almost everything. I thought I was gonna be cool and have my lines be really faint, but I don't have a kneaded eraser, so I used this high polymer eraser and it pretty much erased everything. So I kind of had to start my sketch over again, which was a little bit frustrating. But here I'm just trying to clean up some of the dirty bits, that way that the watercolor doesn't pick them up and make it look grungy. Okay, pulling out the watercolor. This is just a random set that I got from Amazon. I've had it for a while, but I haven't used it extensively, so you'll see some of the colors literally haven't even been touched. But I will link that if you're interested. It does have really pretty metallics in it, which you'll see me use later in this video. So here I'm just kind of laying down the base color of the watercolor. I wanted most of my the primary color of the piece to be in watercolor, and then I'm gonna go over it in a little bit with colored pencil. like to apologize for the numerous appearances that my forehead and hairline make. I did not realize that I was leaning into the camera angle or camera view, and I had to cut like 3 to 5 minutes of video because it was just all my head and you could not even see what I was working on. So you'll notice that there's some major skips in this video a little bit further on. Okay, so now I'm going over everything with colored pencil to get like some more details. I have seen other people do this and I've only done it like one other time, I think, just because it's not a process that I'm used to, but I really like the way that it looks, and if I can add like definition that I'm not really comfortable adding with watercolor, because I love watercolor, but it is a little bit difficult to do detail work with. And I'm not like an expert at watercolor, so the color pencils definitely help me streamline that process. This is the point where off camera, well, no, not off camera, on camera actually, I did like a lot of highlights and stuff and more detail work, but like I said earlier, my head was blocking all of it, so yeah, that's why the big skip. But now I'm kind of making this like little border box background thing, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this is the point in this piece where I probably should have stopped. At this point, I kind of start like overworking it and overthinking it, and I actually don't like the way this turned out in the end because I feel like I overworked it so much. can't hear it, but I'm also a really aggressive painter. Like, if I had the noise turned up on this, you would be hearing like this cling, clang, like every time I dip my brush into the watercolor pot. And then when you might be able to see it, the erratic movement with my hand is making like the loudest scratching noise, and I keep just like smacking the paper with my paintbrush, and I didn't realize that I was such an aggressive painter until I watched this video. So now we're in a new day. Most of the first portion of the video was done just in one day, like in the afternoon and then a little bit later in the evening. And here I'm just sort of doing some finishing because when I put down the metallic paint the first time, it left sort of like a weird streaky sheen. So I had to go back and make sure that my strokes were a little bit more smooth and deliberate. So that's what I'm doing here. And I really wanted like this kind of gold burnished looking background, and so I went in with the copper metallic for the darker parts and then the gold metallic for some of the lighter parts, and I just thought it added like a really cool effect to it. Alright, here's the final piece. Let me know what you think, and thank you so much for watching this Draw With Me. Have a good day.